At 573-875-KTGR. The Big Show starts now.
You bet it does. Welcome into Wednesday's edition of The Big Show on your total sports station, KTGR. Andy Humphrey and Brendan Schaefer here. Oh, man, the Tyreek Hill talk is not going to go away, as you heard in the National Sports Center. And certainly not based on now the current situation, Brendan.
Yeah,
oh, boy.
Tyreek Hill talk go away. He's their wide receiver one. What are you
what are you talking about? No.
They need him.
No. Oh, they don't need him, but people are going to say that they need him because of what's recently come out. So we're going to talk about the Chiefs and their current situation involving Rashee Rice, which we thought that was going to go away. No, it's not going away.
Nope. She just lawyered up. That's all.
That's all
that
means that it's not going away. So we're going to discuss that as well as the restructuring of Patrick Mahomes' contract, what that could do. Did free up quite a bit of cap space.
The rite of spring. I think it's every single year they do this. But,
yes. In light of that, how now do the Chiefs have to position themselves with that in mind and the Rashee Rice stuff in mind? 505 will talk some Chiefs today, so we want your thoughts on all of that. In the meantime, we'll also talk some Mizzou basketball. Big night tonight. Hosting number 19, Vanderbilt. Can the Tigers get it done? Who you got? Tigers or Commodores tonight, 8 o'clock, 7:30 pregame start on KTGR. We'll give our predictions here in a little bit, and we'll also talk Mizzou hoops with Calum McAndrew of the Columbia Tribune at 4:25. We'll get his insights on all things Mizzou basketball, men's and women's. And so we'll see what happens with the men tonight and what could be a very big win if they get it. And you'll get a chance to see if they can do so coming up later tonight. You also get a chance to win some Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off tickets at 520. If you are a Mizzou basketball fan, you'll want to hear the trivia question that we have to give you a chance to win Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off tickets.
And if you're a Chili fan, you'll want to win.
Fan of Mizzou and Chili.
Boy, do we have the show
520 on the show is that way you want to bookmark. So stay tuned for that. 875-KTGR. You'll want to know that number, too, to text in if you want to win our trivia challenge. 573-875-5847. We're also on YouTube live right now. You can see us, youtube.com/@KTGR Sports. You can also see us live on Facebook, facebook.com/KTGR Big Show.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
Mizzou takes on Vanderbilt tonight in men's basketball with a chance to get a quality win, a quad one victory. Vanderbilt comes in winners of 5 of their last 6. They're 8-4 in league play. Mizzou obviously coming off a tough loss to Texas this past Saturday. Injury update. Looks like Sebastian Mack will be available again for Mizzou. They still do not have Javon Porter. And obviously Honor Boateng out for the season was also included as out on the availability report. Notably for Vandy, they are still without 2 of their top guards. Duke Miles is out once again, as well as Frank Collins, who hasn't played at all in conference play. They're also running with a 7-man rotation, as is Mizzou. So we'll see which one wins out tonight. It's an 8 o'clock tip-off from Mizzou Arena. You can hear pregame coverage on KTGR from the Tiger Radio Network at 7:30. That is the Big Show's Big Deal on this 18th day of February, 2026. Give us a call or text here at 573-875-KTGR. Give us your predictions for Mizzou and Vandy, which we talked about how important this one could be yesterday and how it may be one of the more important ones left. I think it certainly seems that way because it's the next one. And if you win it, then you have to win fewer of your next, remaining games. And so why not just
5 after this one, and they're all tough, varying degrees of tough. I think the toughest of them all is Saturday at Arkansas. So you're to avoid a real slide, a 3-game slide potentially. You want to get this game tonight. You've already lost to Texas. Shouldn't have done it. Can't change it. Arkansas is going to be a tough road to hoe. Here's the sandwich game in the middle where you win it. You can kind of throw the 4-game stretch into a mixing bowl and say 2-2. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. You're okay. You're on track, right? You think back to beating A&M when you thought, and maybe the public kind of thought, it's going to be a tough one. Lose to Texas. Okay, should have won. Didn't even come close. Beat Vanderbilt, lose to Arkansas. That's 2 1-1 weeks. And if you go 1-1 the rest of the way, And I guess we could talk about what we would think about a 10-8 and the varying scenarios when you get to Nashville of what you might need, depending on who you're playing and where you're seated. But I think that's going to put you in the ballpark. And I think to get into that ballpark tonight, I mean, the schedule math really does shake out to mean that tonight's a pretty important one. If you subscribe to the, at Arkansas is going to be a toughie.
Because, again, matchups matter, and what the other team is dealing with at the same time also matters. And Vandy is also not quite at full strength. Like, they would rather have Duke Miles playing for them at the moment, but he's been out for almost a month. But he's one of their difference-maker guards, which they have other guys to turn to, obviously. They're a bit of a smaller team, though, and the way that Mizzou can carve out their margin in this game is by making sure they're held to one shot. Like, that's what you got to hold them to, is one and done pretty much every time down the floor. They are not an elite rebounding team. Texas, it's frustrating. You don't want to give up as many offensive rebounds as you did. Texas is an excellent offensive rebounding
team. They do
team.
that to people.
That's their calling card. That's one of their best offense. Vanderbilt, that's not it. What they do is that they're an awesome offense still, so you have to worry about that. They've got great shooters. They can drive downhill on you and beat you down the floor, and they don't turn it over. So they don't make mistakes that you can capitalize upon. So the counter is, okay, don't make as many mistakes on the other end, so you're losing the math there on possessions. But the big thing is you can't allow second chance points. And so, for Mizzou to hold down Vandy's offense to a requisite number to keep them in the game, you do not allow anything that they're good at or that they're average at to be all of a sudden a strength.
Yeah, two things. Get a hand in their face, because I didn't see enough hands in the face against Texas. But then if you are so fortunate that they don't have an overwhelmingly strong shooting night, which they probably will be very good, but on the misses, you have to come down with the basketball. And and I get it that Texas, that was a strength for them. But if you watch some of the rebounds that they came up with, it's like a group of bodies and the ball's bouncing around and you don't have strong enough hands to pry it away. The Texas game was frustrating because I couldn't count the number of times that they would maybe poke a ball loose and it's loose on the floor and everybody's scrambling around. Texas would come up with it every single time. Missouri would do well to jar it loose or to, be in position to get the rebound. But then the loose ball, man, the quote-unquote 50-50 ball was not 50-50 in that game. It was like 95-5, and it didn't favor the Tigers. So, you've got to be strong, and when they do miss, you have to make sure that that's the end of the possession.
Yeah, that's the main key. And if the Tigers can get back to what they had been as a rebounding team, which was above average in conference play, like they had been cleaning up defensive misses pretty well before that Texas game. If they can get back to that, then they will have a chance tonight.
This is a matchup where they should be able to do that. If you just look at the size and you look at the characteristics of the, we joked, I think it was last year, that Vanderbilt's player report or their roster listed everybody as a guard. And it was almost like
point guard.
Okay,
point guard specifically.
Point guard specifically.
Yeah.
No, and they said, well, everybody's got to be able to handle the basketball. Okay, very funny. But that is kind of not too far off with Vanderbilt. They are a very guard-centric team. They'll have a few guys with size, but the engine is really the guards. And so I would call that good news because I don't have as much faith personally in the bigs for Missouri, and really that's Sean Phillips is really who we're talking about. There's not a Vokatitis in this matchup, I don't think, that is going to threaten to take over the game in the way that he did with Texas against Sean Phillips, to where that's the focal point of the game.
Tyler Tanner can. Tyler Tanner is really good. That's my worry. If Tyler Tanner takes over this game, I don't know how much Mizzou can do about that.
No, you're understanding me. There's not a big that's going to do that.
Oh, a big. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see.
If Tyler Tanner, no. Vandy's guards are ridiculous.
Sure.
There's not matchup wise when you're thinking about the size and who's on who. Sean Phillips isn't going to be tasked with stopping Tyler Tanner. The matchup is going to be your guards have to play great. Your T.O. Barrett's, you're going to need Anthony Robinson. You're going to need Trent Pierce. You're going to need Mark Mitchell. this might be a game where if Sean Phillips isn't in the top 5 most effective players on the floor, like you still might have a chance in that. I think Sean Phillips had to be one of their best 4 or 5 guys against Texas, and he wasn't. He fell flat in picking up too early fouls and not staying disciplined and getting, he had moments where he held up underneath. But I'm talking about Vanderbilt not having a 7-footer or a guy that's 6'11" that you go, yeah, sure, Sean Phillips is going to have to carry the load tonight. Nah, not really. Now, offensively, maybe that's a matchup advantage if they're able to take advantage of his size on the interior. But I think if someone's taking over the game, it's a 6-footer, it's a guy who's 6'2", that, you're going to have to play good perimeter defense. You're going to have to be aware of those guys trying to knife through the lane. But it's not like the bully ball guy that gets to the free throw line and is going to get your big into foul trouble. You might be able to play some minutes tonight where, Mark Mitchell is the biggest guy on the floor and go, roll the ball out there and see what your guards can do against their guards, which is that's the way they want to play as well. But I don't think they will be quite as, like, watching the Texas game, it was abundantly clear, like, oh boy, if Phillips gets in foul trouble and they don't have anybody to stop this big tree on the inside, they're in trouble. And they cycled Randall through, they cycled Trent Burns through, couldn't stop him. And I feel like that opened up everything else the other Texas scorers wanted to do. And you're just, as a defense, you're on your heels. That's not quite going to be the case tonight.
I just think that get your best rebounders on the floor as much as possible. Make sure that they don't pick up early fouls because, look, Vanderbilt is very efficient, and so you have to take advantage of any type of spot where the ball is loose. Every single loose ball has to be yours on their offensive end. It
feels like a big game for a guy with both size and ball skills, and I'm talking about Trent Pierce, who I think needs to be involved in a number of capacities, scoring, rebounding.
Yeah.
Take advantage of that when you have a guy who's technically a guard, but he's, 6'10". Trent Pierce has to have a good game. That's my key guy to go to. And Mark Mitchell physically should be able to get his, but that's true every night. There are some matchups where you key more one on a guy than another. This is a matchup where I say I'm keying on wanting to see a lot from Trent Pierce.
875-KTGR, call or text us. James texted in. I still say tonight is a must win. Lenardi says they are back in with a win. Well, I would hope so. They're the first team out. Beat a ranked team. I would hope you raise up at least a spot, and then you're in the field. So that should be the case.
Remind me about something from yesterday.
Yeah.
We said 5.5. Was that Ken Palm or was that a spread?
I think that was a spread. Ken Palm says it's 6. That's
come down. It's now 3.5.
Wow.
Is the spread. And that was the case this morning as well. So this isn't just like a recent. Now, maybe there was a thought that Miles would play and then he's not going to play, but he hasn't been playing. And so I don't know that it's that. What do you make of that? Because we were thinking 5.5 yesterday and now it's 3.5.
Well, I kind of like the Vandy value on that, honestly.
Well, so do I, but I'm not. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
If I'm betting on Vanderbilt or if I'm betting on a Mizzou opponent, I'm doing it as a hedge against my emotions. Well, I don't care if Vandy wins. I don't care if they win by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The margin doesn't matter. I cannot bet the opponent's spread. You can do it when you're a favorite. When Mizzou's a favorite and you're trying to hedge against your emotions, you can bet the other team's spread and hope that you get the emotional middle. You win your bet because Mizzou wins close. That's great. But I can't bet Vanderbilt spread because if I do, I know what's happening. Mizzou is going to lose in devastating fashion, and I'm not covering the spread of Vandy minus 3.5. That's what would happen.
Yeah, Billy.
So even as an emotional risk management strategy, I can't do it.
That is fair. There's a middle ground there that is just not very.
Can't find it.
And it'll find that middle no matter what. What you got, Billy?
I was going to say, how many points do we count for the nice whistle that based on what we've seen with Georgia or Texas or Missouri? If you're a bubble team in the SEC, Sankey's happy to help you out a little bit. Do you guys think there's a couple points too on that scale?
I don't think that is applicable to Missouri. I've seen too many SEC games where I just don't. I think it's a nice thought, but I have seen too many times with Mizzou basketball in this conference where it consistently goes the other way. And maybe I'm just bitter and it's not reflecting reality, but I don't know.
I felt like against A&M and South Carolina, who were both, A&M squarely in, South Carolina's definitely out. I don't know.
A&M's not squarely in anymore. If you look at Lunardi, part of the last 4 buys.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I say a thing I just have to own up to?
Yeah.
I was so close on the Georgia thing, and then they won at Kentucky, so that's never going to be a thing again. Georgia, congrats on your bid.
Yeah.
Because they're in now. Man, that was frustrating last night. They would keep calling back. I was definitely rooting for Kentucky because I think if Georgia loses and loses kind of ugly, then they're like in that Dayton territory.
You want them to drop down for sure if you're a Mizzou fan.
It's too late. I mean, Georgia's probably an 8 seed by now. It's done. And Texas is kind of in the same boat with how they handled Mizzou. Like, that margin of the loss on Saturday ends up being really frustrating because it turned Texas into like a darling and it put Missouri outside the field entirely. Whereas I think if they lose close to Texas and it's competitive, maybe they would be kind of still last team in and get the benefit of the doubt. Man, Texas is really impressive rather than, we got to ding you in the metrics. We got to ding you in everything and it's not looking good for you. That's kind of the frustration about how darn bad they played in that game.
Giving up 25 scores on 27 possessions and a half is bad?
That what it was?
Is that bad, Brendan?
I swear, I was like, I don't think we've stopped them all half.
They had 2 stops.
The couple of times we did, it seems like they got a second chance rebound and they're at the free throw line or whatever the case. So is that really what it was, 25 of 27? Because it felt every bit of that.
And the dorks want to tell us that's bad?
I'm frustrated all over again. Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Those metrics idiots, they don't know anything. Yeah, that sucks. That was terrible.
It was very hard to watch. Yeah.
I was being hyperbolic when I said they didn't get a second half stop. I didn't, but I guess I wasn't.
It's very close to being right. Like, they missed their first 3 possessions. They were empty on their first 3, but then did not really miss at all.
That's terrible.
Especially in like regular time. By the end of it was just, they were ahead by 15 and it didn't matter. But that was hard to watch. And Mizzou now needs to try and shake off the taste of that with a win against Vanderbilt. Daniel is asking, can we get a consistent whistle tonight? I absolutely hate blaming refs, but it has to be consistent first and second half. That'd be nice to not have, 7 fouls in one half and 30 in the next. That'd be nice to get to. I don't know. We've seen that a couple times.
I would appreciate a little consistency. Do we know who the refs are? Because we're kind of getting to the point where we could start to know. And will they be on time? That's another thing that
that's also important. Have we checked the traffic report?
Everybody, make sure you get the app out and make sure you can. There really is no other path. If you're coming from St. Louis.
Yeah, I mean, there's some, maybe a few detours here and there, but you can't really avoid I-70.
It's just one road, really. Yeah.
So, but we'll see.
Well, hope they leave early enough, and hopefully they're well on their way by now, and we'll get that part squared away.
Otherwise, we're starting at 8:30, and man, that's
it's already a late start.
I know,
late
right?
game here.
Yeah. Hopefully by 8 o'clock they're ready to roll, and we'll be ready to roll here on KTGR. Obviously, 7:30 pregame start, 8 o'clock tip off for Mizzou and Vanderbilt. All right. So, what's your prediction?
I believe I predicted a loss against Texas A&M, did I not? So I feel pretty much the same about this game as I did going into that game, and I was wrong about that game. So why should I make it any different? 81-73 Vanderbilt will be my prediction tonight. And boy, I hope I'm wrong. The fact that it's 3.5 instead of 5.5 does feel like it's more coin flippy than maybe we had talked about it previously. But I'm going to truly game theory this and say when I've predicted a loss, they play better. So I'm going to do it that way because I'm not, there's no superstition that is that I won't stoop to when it comes to this game. Because this one, I mean, can you imagine winning this one and then it's like, oh my gosh, we really might have something to talk about in March when it comes to this basketball team. And there's fun, talented players on this team that I would love to see which one of them might have a chance to turn into a March Madness legend. You got to get there first, and I think they have some interesting pieces once they get there, but I think you need to win this game tonight. I think if you don't win this game, you barring just an unbelievable upset of like an at Arkansas, I don't think you'll catch me predicting them in the field the rest of the way, because I just think it's going to be that beeline to 8 or 9 conference wins. They'll pick up one, Mississippi State or Oklahoma, maybe one more. But if you get this one, the ceiling is still wide open, and the possibilities feel endless. So I'm in my feelings about this one already, and I'll say it's an 8-point loss.
Have to avoid the Tyler Tanner just explosion. What makes me fearful of that is that he had a dud in the last game. He had
you hate to see that.
4 points in 31 minutes.
Yep.
It was 2 of 7 from 3, or 2 of 7 from 2, and 0 for 3 from 3-point land. He did not get to the free throw line at all when he
in his last game.
In his last game.
Yeah, I don't like.
And
that.
Vandy still won at home against A&M by 13. Yeah, I'm fearful of that. But
I think that's fair.
But for some reason, I think the Tigers are going to pull it out of their stomach. Be like, hey, we are not letting up offensive rebounds in this game. Mark Mitchell's going to take over. We're going to have T.O. Barrett return to what the last 3 weeks were instead of what last Saturday was.
He had a dud, too. If he can
come back from that, then Mizzou gets some of their margin back. I think Mizzou wins it. 79-73.
Love it. Love the optimism. I want it so bad.
Yeah.
I want it so bad. Oh, it's attainable. I've been saying for a while, like, this is maybe one of the more winnable games left. And I was saying that knowing that the spread wouldn't be in their favor, but 3.5, that's nothing. That's barely more than a possession. They can handle that.
Yeah.
I say after predicting a loss on the radio. I'm gonna hem and haw the rest of the night. I'm telling you.
We'll see. Again, pregame at 7:30, tip off, late one, 8 o'clock tonight here on KTGR, as you can tune into Mizzou men's basketball. And if you're a Mizzou fan and a Chili fan, 5:20, be tuned in for your chance to win some Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off tickets this Saturday at the Wyndham Executive Center in Columbia. We'll give you a chance to be the winner of our trivia challenge for that, so stay tuned at 5:20. We'll give you a chance there. We're going to talk more Mizzou basketball. Calum McAndrew of the Columbia Daily Tribune is going to join us for that chatter coming up at 4:25 here, so in just a couple of minutes. In the meantime, I'll look up to see if Pat Adams is refereeing tonight. If there's a way to know.
Good to find that out.
I'll report back and see if that is the case. Keep it right here on The Big Show. KTGR and the KTGR app. We'll have Calum McAndrew next.
Follow The Big Show on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube. And keep it here on your total sports station, KTGR.
Hey, construction dude, congrats on the killer contract in Cape. Sweet. So, how are you going to get that Mongo crane down to the job site? Here's a haul of an idea. Just Google I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew for heavy equipment hauling, too. Semis, dozers, RVs, goosenecks, farm and construction stuff, school buses, boats, bring it. If you use it, they can move it. Call the team they think you'll really love to meet. I70towing.com. Goosenecks. Give me some long necks.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Advanced Tree Solutions. Wintertime is when your trees are barren, obviously. No leaves yet. We'll get to that very soon. But you still need to be aware of how your trees are growing during this time, especially if they're hanging over those power lines, right? That can be dangerous. And so now that there aren't leaves on the branches yet, now's a good time to get tree pruning done so that they can be safe once we see that growth back. Eric and his team at Advanced Tree Solutions, they are excellent to work with. They've come to my yard before, taken a tree out that was dead. They're honest, upfront, and trained, and they know exactly how to take care of your trees. Because, look, the power company's not going to know how to do it. Most lawn services, they don't know how to really take care of them. Eric and his team does. Go to advancedtreesolutionsllc.com. You can contact them to book for tree pruning and also look at the other services they have so that you can get ready for springtime at advancedtreesolutionsllc.com. Give your trees the care they deserve with Advanced Tree Solutions.
Step into a real-life snow globe with Zimmer Communications and Colette Travel on this 9-day European vacation. Stroll Prague, Dresden, Vienna, and Budapest. From castles and cathedrals to twinkling market stalls. Sip warm Glühwein, shop handcrafted gifts, and even visit a family-run candy workshop. Learn more by joining us in Colette Travel Tuesday, March 17th at 5:30 at Courtyard Marriott Columbia on Lamone Industrial Boulevard. RSVP today at ZimmerCommunications.com.
You know your favorites. Now it's time to put them on the map. Nominations are open for Inside Columbia Magazine's Best of Columbia 2026. Now through March 1st. Nominate the businesses and places you love, including Best Pizza, Best Bar, Best Chiropractor, Best Insurance Agent, and Best Home Repair and Remodeling. You can nominate once per day, so come back and support the businesses you love most. Best of Columbia 2026 starts with you. Nominate today at InsideColumbia.net.
My name is Taylor, and I have had insurance with Phyllis Nichols and her team for over 9 years. A auto claim came when my wife was rear-ended. Everyone was safe, but that left a lot of cosmetic damage on her brand new car. We called Phyllis, said, hey, this is what happened, and she's made it a very streamlined process. Phyllis lined out our rental car and made everything just so easy. And having 3 kids and losing a vehicle is a big deal, but Phyllis went to bat for us, got everything lined out, and made it a very easy process.
Hi, we're Midway Electric. Late winter is the smart time to take a look at your electrical system before spring projects and new power demands put extra strain on it. If your panel is outdated, breakers trip often, or you're planning major upgrades, now is the time to make sure your system is ready. From panel upgrades and repairs to efficient lighting and future-ready electrical solutions, Midway Electric helps keep homes and businesses safe, reliable, and prepared for what's next. Midway Electric, powered by people with pride. MidwayElectricInc.com.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
Unfortunately, couldn't find that info during the break. I don't think it's posted until maybe a couple hours before the game actually starts. We were trying to find
Rarely should you have to care about that.
Right, I know. We were trying to find out who the officials were going to be tonight for Mizzou and Vanderbilt. Maybe just for time concerns, we wanted to make sure that it wasn't Pat Adams, because if it is Pat Adams, pencil in at least 4 reviews per game. And again, 8:00 game, that really messes with the sleep schedule. So let's, for tonight's sake, I'm not saying Pat Adams is a bad guy, but just for tonight's sake, I don't like him as a ref. Sure that that's not the case tonight. We'll see. Here on the Big Show, KTGR on the KTGR app, talk some Mizzou basketball with us at 875-KTGR. We're going to talk some Mizzou hoops now with Calum McAndrew of the Columbia Daily Tribune. You can find his work over at C_McAndrew95 on Twitter, and, of course, subscribe to the Columbia Tribune for his great stuff. Yeah, I know you were reacting also to the sometimes we bemoan when we see Pat Adams, and it's like, I don't know what's going to happen here, but I know for a fact that we're going to stop the game at least 3 or 4 times to review something.
Yeah, I get it. Is there an unwritten rule in college basketball where you have to have triple amount of the fouls in the second half?
That also.
It's an awesome sport where the rules are different in the second half than they were in the first half. It's really cool. I like how they do that every single night so that I don't leave work until about 2 a.m. It's awesome.
Glad I'm not the only one noticing. It seriously has been that way. Multiple conference games for Mizzou, and seemingly at Mizzou Arena, whatever that may be. We've talked a lot over the last couple days about the importance of this game in particular for Mizzou. Now, look, you could look at all 6 of the games left and say, well, they're all tough, and 5 of them are all going to be quad 1 games. So what's really the difference? How do you see this, though? Because, again, with the way Vandy's playing, with the way they're currently constructed, with the fact that Mizzou has a size advantage, how do you relay all that in and say, okay, how important is it for Mizzou to get specifically this one?
Yeah, it's tough to say because, I feel like I've done this every single game to this point in the season where I've called it a game Missouri needs to win, and then they don't, and then they come out and they win the next one, and kind of level set a little bit there, and we just kind of it feels like we're in net neutral a lot of the time here. They just keep finding their ways to get back to square one. We are it's getting late early here though a little bit, where I think if you do end up dropping this one, you find yourself in a situation where you're going to Arkansas facing an 0-2 week already as a team that's kind of on the outside looking into the bubble. And then suddenly you put an 0-2 week on your hands, and man, that hill starts to get real steep there. You're scaling a tower without ropes suddenly. And I'm not sure that's really what you want to do coming into the back half of the season. So I think from that angle, that's what makes tonight so important, because I wouldn't want to have to go to Arkansas right now, the way they're playing, the way their offense is humming, I wouldn't want to have to go there and kind of need a win. So you really do, when you've got a game where you've got a little bit of a size advantage. Vanderbilt has been a little bit, they've won 5 of their last 6, but right before that, they've got a 3-game losing streak. They've been a little bit closer to imperfect since they lost Duke Miles. You would really like this one on your home floor.
And now you see a point spread down to 3.5. And so that the implication at least is that someone out there thinks you've got a chance. And so when you're within striking distance, you want to get it. You mentioned a little bit, though, Calum, about the matchup. It felt like the Texas game, you had Vokatitis just sort of take over when Sean Phillips gets into foul trouble. You won't have that maybe this time. What do you worry about matchup-wise? What does Missouri have to be on guard for when it comes to this Vanderbilt team?
It's funny because Missouri doesn't really have a consistent weakness. There's things we can point to, like their 3-point shooting defense and and things like that, where we can say, oh well, this intermittently hurts them, but there's not one thing that really kills them on a nightly basis. It's been a really sporadic mix of things when they do lose that has ended up being problematic. And the thing that I'm looking at here is actually the thing that I just said. It's the way that Vanderbilt can spread around its scoring. I think that is really difficult to defend. That is, even without Duke Miles, they've got Tyler Tanner and Tyler Nickel, who are 2 elite scorers, 2 absolutely tremendous players. Now, I worry whether Missouri will be able to keep the pace if this does end up just being a shootout. I worry that Texas kind of showed the blueprint on how to stop Missouri from behind the arc. I know they had a week to prepare. I know that they, like you said, they tried as much as they could to make that a Vokatitis, Sean Phillips kind of battle there for a little while, which they won. But if this does devolve, or I guess devolve might be the word there, but into a 3-point shooting contest, I worry, does Missouri have the arsenal to stick around in this one, to keep the pace with a team like Vanderbilt that has multiple guys who are shooting above 35% on the season. They're not scared of taking shots. They're really good at parlaying that with getting to the line. That's a difficult team to defend. That's difficult to go toe-to-toe. They very rarely score less than 80 points in a game. So do you have the heat? Are you going to show up and have the offense to compete with that?
Calum McAndrew of the Columbia Daily Tribune here on the Big Show, KTGR, and the KTGR app as Mizzou gets set to face Vanderbilt tonight in men's hoops. Vanderbilt's kind of rolling with something similar, but this is more about a Mizzou question of what they're rolling with now with their 7-man rotation. So even not just with this game that they'll have tonight, but just down the line as you get to late February, early March, and you're trying to peak. And you're doing it with the group that Mizzou has right now of 7 players that they trust to be out there as much as they are right now. And occasionally they throw somebody else out there too, but it's for very limited time. Just how have you seen them navigate this recently with the shortened rotation? That, look, people have been wanting a shorter rotation, but now that they've got it, it seems that it also has its shortcomings also.
Yeah, it's a real be careful what you wish for situation, I think. I think you would... if you asked Dennis Gates and you gave him truth serum, I don't think he would ever want to be in this situation where he's playing 7 guys. I don't think that's how he's made up as a coach. I don't think that's part of his genetic fabric, like the way he wants to put together a basketball roster. I don't think that this is anywhere close to ideal for him. But they don't have a lot of front court options. It's just, Trent Burns and Luke Northweather, they haven't shown you that they can come in and give you even something close to useful defensive minutes in SEC play. And that's putting a lot of pressure on Sean Phillips, who I think does generally do a lot of stuff that impacts winning. I think he is a little bit better than people give him credit for. I get that why people get angry with him for as many technicals as he picks up. He is pretty foul prone. He has that kind of Jeremiah Tillman-esque quality about him, but I do generally think he's been a useful part of that front court. But once he gets into foul trouble, Missouri's in so much trouble. They just do not have another option at that position. I don't think there is another player that they can really play at the 5 at the moment. You can throw Mark Mitchell out there, and I think then they become a little bit one-dimensional with their offense. If and when he's healthy again, Javon Porter could maybe play out there, but I don't think we really saw anything that would make you loved the sound of that from non-conference play when he was in the roster. So it's been a little bit of a miss there, and the fact that they're down at 7, I think, is more of a forced issue than anything else. And like you say, there's the knock-on effects of wear and tear that are going to come here. That's a lot of guys that are playing 20, 25, 30 minutes in a game once you stretch the minutes that thin. And when you're in a bubble battle and you're maybe even talking about first fours and stuff like that, that's an unideal situation. Now, I'll be intrigued to see how long they roll with that, if they do try and get creative with the minutes elsewhere. But I think it's I see why people like it. I see why, it is the 7 players you trust. It's the 7 players but it's not conducive to the way that Missouri wants to play basketball. It's not conducive to the personnel that they have right now, especially in the front court. And I think it'll get them in trouble more often than it will play out the way it did at Texas A&M, where it really benefited them. We'll see how it goes from here. I'm not as optimistic that that's going to pan out for the rest of the season, just playing 7 guys, though.
Yeah, it's a challenge because when you do put other guys in there, it seems like it happens for 2-3 minutes at a time.
Right.
Noticeably, you go, uh-oh, that didn't look good. Let's get guys we trust. And it kind of has gotten to a point where that's where Dennis Gates has gone. And if you've got too many of your 7 on a given night, maybe not playing to their best, that's a pretty easy recipe to lose a game. I want to ask about one of the 7, though. A guy who, when we've seen him hot, has been able to carry you, and not just as a scorer, but that's definitely part of it. In a matchup like tonight, do you look to Trent Pierce and say, you're one of the guys with size who can maybe get a few of those rebounds against a smaller Vanderbilt team, but also, man, when he's able to shoot the basketball and score it, they've done some pretty good things too.
Yeah, absolutely. He's that's who I was hoping you were going to say, because I think that's the correct answer. I think that is especially, I love what he does defensively. I think it is so underappreciated how good he is at affecting passing lanes, how good he is at tipping balls. There are 4 or 5 of them a night where you see him and you look, wow, that possession was heavily impacted by what he did there. I think he's improved so much on that end of the floor. But Missouri desperately, more than that, desperately needs a third consistent scorer. I mean, it was so obvious in the second half when Texas essentially put the clamps on Mark Mitchell. So you take away that downhill drive and paint option. When Jaden Stone doesn't quite have his shooting touch, which isn't really that often, but if you're able to quieten him down, there's just a dearth of options, and Missouri needs anyone to step up and be that guy that can give them a little bit of a scoring jolt when things get a little bit slow. And I think it has to be Trent Pierce. I like what Tiro Barrett gives you in spurts. You would obviously love if Ant Robinson could be the player he was toward the back half of last season. That would be, but you can't rely on that at this point. It'd be great if Jacob Cruz could be the 3-point shooter he is in non-conference play right now. That would obviously be a major help. But the player that we've seen it in the most clear and obvious, okay, this could happen in SEC play, is Trent Pierce. And you wish you could get it consistently. It's something that while you're in a battle with Texas, and they go on a little mini 6-0 spurt, if you could just get that third scoring option when they put the clamps on Mark Mitchell, when they get in front of Jaden Stone and don't let him, run the game the way he wants to, you wish you could have somebody that long, that good at shooting, who could consistently score the basketball for you. And I think that's going to be so important to whether or not how far they go this year, essentially.
Calum McAndrew of the Columbia Daily Tribune here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. So if they get it done tonight, you think they get a win?
I'm done predicting. I don't think I've been right once this year, but this team, man, whatever I say,
they're going to lose.
Right? Yeah. Well, that is what I predicted to this week. So everyone should go and fade me immediately. You should be feeling good about your evening now. I like this Vanderbilt team. Every time I watch them, I'm entertained by them. I think they have so many just really fun playmakers. I don't know, but then we saw that at Texas A&M as well, and Missouri played one of its best games of the season on the road. So what do I know? I'm so tired of trying to predict what this Missouri team is going to be twice a week, because I'm never right. But I do think Vanderbilt's going to win this game. I do think they are the better basketball team. I worry about some of Missouri's weaknesses coming into this one, especially from the 3-point line. I think this is one where we see a little bit of quality from Vanderbilt as they try and put together a pretty high seed at the NCAA tournament. But I think I've been wrong about 9 times out of 10 so far. So,
all done. There we go.
Our producer Billy was giving a little fist bump. I think he's kind of.
That was unrelated. Quinn Hughes just scored the overtime winner in the Olympic quarterfinal. U.S. through to the semis. They'll play Slovakia tomorrow. Okay. Sorry, unrelated. My bad, Cal.
Update.
No, that was very well done. I was not expecting that, but I'm glad it happened all of a sudden. That's a good one to see. Callum, while we had you, a quick note on Mizzou women's basketball. This game tomorrow, it seems like their most winnable one left for the regular season. So you obviously want to get that one. But then, with what's left, do you see Mizzou women's hoops? It just seems from how I see it that maybe what's left for them to show this year, I think clearly it's a year of progress, but maybe you need a signature win before you're gone, like in this first year, and to see if that can revitalize a few more fans. Do you see that as a possibility down the line here, or how do you kind of evaluate it?
So to start with your first point, tomorrow is eminently the most winnable game they have left. Auburn at home, and then I remember there was a Texas's coach, Vic Schaefer, was in a press conference the other week bemoaning what the SEC scheduling office gave his team this year. Kelly Harper should be in Birmingham protesting right now with how they finished the season. It's South Carolina, LSU on the road, and then Oklahoma at home, all top 10 teams. They had to go to Tennessee last week.
That was exactly what Vic Schaefer was complaining about. It was at LSU and at South Carolina. He was complaining about starting with that. Mizzou is finishing with that this year, and I've heard no complaints from Kelly Harper on it.
And worse with Tennessee and Oklahoma on there as well. I mean, just terrible, awful. But generally, I would say an encouraging year one. I like the style that Kelly Harper's bringing. I think it's up-tempo, it's fun, it's fast. You can tell that this group of players, which wasn't really much more than kind of a mid-major scrap together, let's see what we can just find in the portal in a couple of weeks and hope they can play basketball. They're a well-coached unit. And the injury bugs hit them, and they've had some struggles. Tennessee was a tough one for going back to our old school there, but it was never going to be anything different without Jordana Reisma, who is essentially their only front court option at the moment. You would love to see a signature win in this, but I unfortunately don't see it coming. If you could pick one up against Auburn tomorrow and who knows, maybe win a game at the SEC tournament, I think that's a really, really, really encouraging sign in year one. Even if they don't, they've essentially matched what they did in the past 2 years win-wise in SEC play. It's already a step forward, I would say, and there is reason to be optimistic about the direction of the program. But you would like to see them win. And, you do that, there's a chance you end up in a WNIT, the way that the invites work there. There really is. I mean, Florida got in with 5 SEC wins last year, so you could maybe, if enough teams don't accept invites, you could see Missouri getting a postseason game beyond the SEC tournament if they can pick up a couple more. It is just such a tough run to the finish, but I'm generally impressed by what I've seen in year one.
We'll see how it finishes for the Tiger ladies as they play tomorrow night against Auburn. In a game that looks like their most winnable one left, but some opportunities to face some ranked teams after that, some of the elite ones in the SEC to finish out the year. Calum McAndrew of the Columbia Daily Tribune. You can find all his work at the Columbia Tribune and follow him on Twitter at @C_McAndrew95. Thanks for coming on for our hoops chatter, our hockey updates, and so much more. Hopefully Pat Adams isn't here tonight. We'll talk soon.
Me too. I hope so. Thanks, guys.
For all of our sleep schedules' sake. Appreciate you coming on the big show, KTGR and the KTGR app. As soon as we find out, we'll let you know.
Yeah. No, because I mean it does definitely impact the sleep schedule when you have an 8 p.m. start.
Yeah, man.
He just likes to get on that monitor. He really does.
It's like it's in his contract for every game. I gotta be at the monitor at least 3 times. Like,
give me some FaceTime.
Yeah,
I swear, man, and I know we've felt this way in football for so many years, and the NFL now goes to the expedited review where some of them they're able to avoid the big drawn out process. I go, yeah, you blew it. Just here, fix it. Here's how. You would be able to do that so easily in college basketball. I mean, there are some of these where it's like it takes 3 minutes, and within 15 seconds of a replay on TV, we're like, yeah, switch it. Other team knocked it out of bounds. It's very clear. It takes so long, I guess, because it is kind of a new thing to be reviewing as many plays as they do. But my goodness, does it take way longer than it should?
I don't think the challenge system. Maybe there's data at the end of the year that will prove me wrong. But the way that I've watched these games, I don't think the challenge system has made it shorter. Like they used to go just, we're only going to review in the last 2 minutes when it comes to possession and things like that. But now you can challenge anytime you want as long as you have challenges and timeouts to use. But I don't know if it's because you can still review other things. Like a coach can ask, like, hey, he elbowed my guy, go and review it. And like,
I'm out of challenges.
Right?
But that
So it's just whatever. Anyway, that's our rant on NCAA officiating, college basketball. In the meantime, we'll throw under the bus the Players Era Festival. Hey, that'll be fun. Let's do that next.
Okay.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Billy Jones. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Missouri men's basketball hosts 19th ranked Vanderbilt tonight at Mizzou Arena, set for an 8 p.m. tip. Pregame show will begin at 7:30 right here on KTGR. Commodores come in at 21-4, 8-4 on the SEC. Meanwhile, Mizzou 17-8 and 7-5 in the SEC. Joe Lenardi, ESPN's bracketology expert, currently has the Tigers as the first team out. No Duke Miles tonight for Vanderbilt. He still has not played since January 24th. The Chiefs announced a restructuring of Patrick Mahomes' contract, freeing up $43.5 million in cap space, as projected to carry an $82 million hit for next year. Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice facing legal trouble as the mother of his 2 children, Dakota, filed a lawsuit seeking $1 million in punitive damages for alleged abuse occurring earlier in the relationship. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew. When your world seems to have been wrecked, call the team you hope you never have to meet. Visit them at I-70 Towing.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking partly cloudy skies overnight as temperatures drop down into the mid-40s. It'll be very breezy tomorrow as gusts get up to around 30 to 35 miles per hour. With low humidity, we will see an increased fire danger. High temperatures make it to the upper 60s. And we're much colder to end the week with morning temperatures on Friday in the 20s. Highs only make the low 40s. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
The foundation is set.
Missouri knocks off the #1 team in the nation.
The frame is built.
On the run, Mitchell for the plus, Missouri by 20.
And the gates
the habits, the response to detail, the execution, all that stuff matters.
are open.
Drives right baseline to the rim, jams it as he hangs and got fouled.
This is your radio home for Mizzou basketball.
Cruz, here comes the 3. Bang, he splashed it home.
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Winter is in full swing, and Aleve is here to keep you moving. When the cold weather sets in, everyday aches and pains can linger, but Aleve's got your back. With up to 12 hours of body pain relief per dose, Aleve keeps you going with long-lasting body pain relief to get you through whatever the season brings. Chilly days or cozy nights, Aleve gives you that long-lasting body pain relief you can count on this winter. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Guys, our day is coming. The 2026 Como Man Show. Saturday, March 14th at the Northeast Event Center where the Boone County Fair is held. Sports, tractors, cars, and a whole lot more of everything that makes you proud to be a man. Food and drink? Oh yeah, Mid-Missouri's best will be there too. with a portion of the proceeds going to a local nonprofit. Tickets on sale now, so grab yours at ComoManShow.com, and we'll see you there. Saturday, March 14th at the Northeast Event Center.
Columbia has a lot of great neighborhoods, a lot of beautiful neighborhoods, and you can't replace or build new homes there, but they're aging, and the homes are getting to an age where they're needing maintenance. And one of the biggest things that we see coming over probably the next decade is need and demand for window replacement. So as your home approaches 15, 17, 20 years old, you're probably going to notice some drafts. You're going to notice some locks that don't quite lock anymore, maybe some condensation in the windows on the inside, outside, or between the panes. There's a variety of things. Or maybe you just drive up to the window and it's got rotten wood or a really faded exterior. But either way, at about that time frame, these windows kind of end their life cycle. And so we want to be prepared to be the ones that you call, when you notice that and you want a solution for it. The difference between a house and a home is the attention to detail. At True Sun Exteriors and Interiors, we'll turn your vision of a dream home into a reality. For more information or a free estimate, go to TrueSunExteriors.com.
TrueSunExteriors.com. Michael Agnew here with API Project Fitness. I understand that life is hard, and if you're soft, it will squish you. You must find a way to be hard. Armor yourself up mentally and physically and emotionally. Our goal is to help you find your inner strength and hardness. The difference between strength and weakness is choice. With our group fitness classes and personal training and open gym, the choice is yours. Choose strength. Find us at APIProjectFitness.com or call us at 573-268-6944 to make an appointment.
And now the doggy dedication with Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. This week's letter comes from Coco in Columbia. Coco writes, "Dear Kretsch's, my human's been whizzing off his new deck nonstop. I've never seen him so happy. But while he's making salty lemon snow cones, I don't have a place to pee of my own. If I had a wood fence to whiz on, I could unleash my freedom stream from a three-legged lean. Well, Coco, Kretsch's Custom Exteriors can build you that fence to splatter your bladder. Kretsch's Custom Exteriors. True beauty is on the outside."
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brendan on The Big Show on KTGR.
It's time to go under the bus on The Big Show.
Remember when we were kind of bemoaning the fact that Mizzou was pulling out of the Players Era Festival tournaments? And
I do remember.
Gates, why aren't you scheduling tough? Things like that. Well, I think it was probably a good idea. Now, seeing what's kind of coming out about the Players Era Festival.
How did he know? How did he know it would be this big of a disaster?
I'm sure he would know. He would be plugged in enough to know. Apparently, the Players Era Festival, big tournament that they put on in Vegas. They say, hey, we're going to give a bunch of NIL money to your school so you can come and participate. Great idea, right? Well, apparently they're late on those payments to schools. They were supposed to get them at a certain time, and those dates had passed. They're also apparently seeking, they're trying to get their next TV deal done for future tournaments, and they're pricing it at $50 million.
This is the fire fest of college basketball that we could potentially be witnessing, because they figure, well, if we could get the $50 million TV deal for future events, maybe we can just make it a big enough thing that we'll get out from under this. They may not have the money to pay it. Nobody went.
I don't think anybody wants to pay $50 million to put that on their platform with the way it went last time.
And nobody was there in the arenas. The attendance was not strong. The matchups are great, but that was around the time of year where the big talking point that everybody had on every show was, it's a lot better when you play these big-time games on campuses. And so, that's not conducive when it comes to this Players Era deal. So, yeah, this seems like a big old flop.
Yeah, I don't think there will be very many
the bus
versions of this down the line if they can't get that TV deal done. That seems to be the whole cog in this, and well,
that's a bad business model. If you ran a year of it, you're going to pay it out with next year's deal.
It's time for the sweetest thing in sports on The Big Show.
Some good Olympic things happened today for the United States. First of all, Michaela Schifrin, that is an excellent comeback story for her, winning the gold in slalom today. I mean, Pyeongchang did not go her way. Beijing did not go her way. That's her first gold, I believe, in 12 years. That's an incredible comeback story for Michaela Schifrin to win that event. and becomes one of it comes in rare air when it comes to that particular event too, internationally, not just in America. Also, Billy broke the news earlier, but yeah, baby, come on, yeah, Team USA hockey. Quinn Hughes, the hero in overtime.
There you go.
Let's go. Come on. On to the semifinals, defeating Sweden today. Who are they playing? Finland next? Is it Finland?
Slovakia.
Slovakia, okay.
2:00 tomorrow.
All right. And then probably after that, Canada, the gold medal match. It's all set up.
Yep.
Oh, boy. Let's see if the boys can get it done. Get the first Olympic gold since 1980. That's the last time it happened for Team USA. Kind of hard to believe, but
yeah. And they might just have, Jordan Bennington standing in their way. That'd be no big deal.
Wouldn't that be something?
It would be something. It would very much be something.
Standing in their way in their Four Nations face-off last year. There's bad blood from that too between U.S. and Canada. And we'll see if that ends up being the matchup in a few short days. But that was a fun one. Canada also had to kind of come from behind and get an overtime winner today. So lots of drama on the ice rink for hockey over in the Winter Olympics. Up next, talk some Chiefs. Yeah, it looks like that Rashee Rice thing isn't going to go away. So we're going to discuss that. We'll discuss the Mahomes restructure of the contract and more Chiefs offseason possibilities. At 5:05, we'll give you a chance at some chili cook-off tickets as well at 5:20.
You've seen the trucks. You've heard the name, but there still seems to be some confusion. So let's settle this once and for all. Yes, Steve from Steve's Pest Control is a real guy.
Okay, sure. I'll believe in Steve when I see a termite riding a unicorn.
Time to squash those rumors, like Steve squashes spiders. Steve's Pest Control isn't some big corporate chain, and they're not some call center based in the land of make-believe. Steve's Pest Control is a locally owned, family-operated company. From ants to termites, bedbugs to wasps, Steve's crew handles it all with precision and a dash of Midwestern charm.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control.
There it is, proof of Steve's existence. So don't waste your time calling the not-so-local guys and call your friends at Steve's Pest Control. Local, legendary, and 100% real.
We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control. Menards' 11% rebate is here. From lighting to lumber, from doors to floors. The bigger the project, the bigger the rebate. From painting projects to that new kitchen makeover and designing that outdoor space of your dreams. Save big on any project you're tackling. Hurry into Menards for an 11% rebate on everything. Mail-in rebate is a merchandise credit check, not a point-of-sale discount. Redeemable on future in-store purchases only. Not on future purchases on Menards.com. See store for details. Save big money at Menards.
My name is Barry Rowe with True Sun Exteriors and Interiors. I started True Sun Exteriors and Interiors in 2010, and I started working with the Zimmer team. It was the first advertising option that I tried was radio, stayed with that, and it started seeing results with that in a relatively quick time frame. And with the Zimmer team, with the creativity that they can help you with, the ideas, and just their advice makes it such a core piece of what we do to get our name out in the community and brand it.
Zimmer Communications. You know business. We grow business. ZimmerCommunications.com.
KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station. KTGR.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, the U.S. men's Olympic hockey team's on to the semifinals at the Winter Games. Quinn Hughes scored the game winner, 3:27 into overtime in the 2-1 victory over Sweden. USA plays Slovakia in Friday's semis. Canada captain Sidney Crosby will undergo an MRI to determine the severity of the lower body injury suffered in the 4-3 OT win over Czechia. He's uncertain Friday versus Finland. Tonight's Wednesday college hoops doubleheader tips off in an hour on ESPN. Number 20 Arkansas, number 25 Alabama, followed by star freshman A.J. DeBonsa leading number 23 BYU against number 4 Arizona. Wildcats trying to bounce back after back-to-back losses. ESPN college basketball analyst Seth Greenberg.
They got to get back to their identity. Physical, force, pace, attack, get to the free throw line, do the things they do well. And they're going to have to deal with A.J. DeBonsa. They're going to have to make him play in a crowd. They're going to have to keep right out of the lane. But they do certain things better than anyone else in the country. pound you in the paint. They get to the free throw line, and they beat you in transition off of their defense.
Devonta is the leading scorer in Division I, averaging 24.4 points a game.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
From Faroe. 15 to the 10, to the house. Push. Back to the wall. And it's got her. And Arrowhead. Touchdown! Kansas City. To your speakers. This is the big show, baby. Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is the Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
We have more Chiefs chatter today. Because, well, Patrick Mahomes did restructure the contract, so we'll see what possibilities that gives them. But also, Rashee Rice, maybe it is, in fact, time to move on. He's now facing a lawsuit from his ex-girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend that he had kids with, and it alleges assault and abuse and a lot of bad stuff. So we're going to talk about that, what it means in the context for the Chiefs, coming up here in a few minutes. We'll give you a chance to win some Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off tickets at 5:20. Be listening in for our Mizzou-related trivia question for that and be ready to text in the correct answer. We'll also talk about what else Mizzou might need across the rest of college basketball tonight as far as bubble teams that are in action. We'll get to all of that. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
Well, it's a big one tonight. Mizzou hoops against Vanderbilt, 8 p.m. tip-off from Mizzou Arena as the Tiger men try to find a way to bounce back from that ugly loss against Texas. Sebastian Mack available, according to the injury report, after missing his last game due to an illness. Whether he really plays very much or not remains to be seen. The Tigers pretty confident and comfortable rolling with 7-man rotation. They had to expand it a little bit to a couple of additional bigs when Sean Phillips got in trouble against the Longhorns. But I feel like this is a game where they might have to roll the ball out in Missouri's best 7 against Vandy's best 7. The spread's down to 3.5. The Tigers are still home underdogs, but when you look at the upcoming schedule, yeah, you're really going to want to win this one tonight.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
Mizzou baseball took a 4-2 loss against Florida Atlantic in their midweek game. Not really the result you want, but after starting with a 2 out of 3 against Mount St. Mary's, they're now 2-2 on the season. J.D. Dorman started the game, solid arm out of the St. Louis area, pitched well, 5 innings of 1-run baseball with 5 strikeouts, but not enough as the Tiger bats couldn't really get it going.
Number 3.
Another baseball note, Yadier Molina is at Cardinals spring training now, and there have been some good videos surfacing of him working with the young catchers down there. That's what Cardinals fans, I think, have wanted all along. Be interested to see how much of an impact he can have on Ivan Herrera. Herrera, of course, recovering still from the elbow surgery, was said to have earlier this week done some real good catching drills and throwing at full speed, trying to get guys at second base and working on that pop time. Yesterday, he was hanging out in the outfield, kind of doing some work out there, but not with an outfielder's mitt. So I think the Cardinals are content to have him remain behind the plate this year. It's just going to be important for him to be able to catch his stride if he's going to become the franchise catcher that he wants to be.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
A number of weeks ago, we discussed how a former partner of Rashee Rice had posted to Instagram some pretty damning accusations of domestic violence, and we wondered if anything would come of it. The post was eventually deleted. We didn't hear anything further. Until now, it appears there is a civil suit in which the woman is seeking over $1 million in damages relating to events from their relationship. Yeah, I said it then, I'll say it now. I don't know if the Chiefs can even trade him with all the constant legal trouble or civil suits that he is involved in. It's ugly, but we'll talk some Chiefs because, Mahomes did his annual contract renewal.
Number 5.
Fixed the cap.
Where's the 5 fingers? Say to the face.
Sorry to barge in on Billy's territory, but Team USA survives. They're going to
That's
the semis.
the Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
875-KTGR to call or text us. It was hilarious because I thought Calum McAndrew was saying right away who he thought was going to win tonight between Mizzou and Vanderbilt. And as Billy was reacting to him seeing the goal by Quinn Hughes,
Thought he was hating on the Tigers there
because he's a Nashville native. That's what I thought he was doing.
I will say
water's thicker than blood.
I will say this: at the Mizzou Vanderbilt football tailgate, Billy was decked out in the good black and gold, so he was all Mizzou.
That's good.
I can confirm, and so he wouldn't do us like that. But that was very hilarious timing for us seeing it. Not even the YouTube audience got to catch it because we just saw Billy off screen. But that was good stuff.
I was like, what's he doing? Oh, right, he's from Nashville. Oh, that's not that. Okay, but that made us all happy anyway, and we got to play Freebird out of it. That's awesome.
Well, that was a good. You had it ready. I mean, it was ready to go.
Always this time of year. Let's go. Team USA going to play Slovakia in the semifinals tomorrow for a shot at the gold medal game,
presumably against Canada.
Yeah, because Canada got their scare today, and they're not going to mess around against Finland tomorrow. Is my prediction. We'll see.
I want to see it. It was so fun in the Four Nations, and I want to see it on the big stage. I mean, the Olympics is where it's at. So, Jordan Bennington against USA. We need 2 more results to go our way to get that matchup.
All right, we'll see if it can happen. 875-KTGR. If you want to join us, again, we'll give you a chance at some Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off tickets at 520. You're ready for our trivia challenge there. Mizzou-related trivia question to give to you. But in the meantime, we'll talk some Chiefs. The 2 bits of news today. Let's start with the bad one. Rashee Rice now facing a civil lawsuit from his ex-girlfriend that he has kids with, and this ex-girlfriend is alleging abuse, assault, lots of bad things when it comes to their relationship that they had for nearly 2 years between December of 2023 and I believe July of last year. Through their relationship in both Texas and Missouri during that time, the lawsuit says, quote, Rice is grabbed, choked, strangled, pushed, thrown, scratched, hit, and headbutted Ms. Jones, as well as hit her with inanimate objects. There's talk of destroying property, broken furniture, and yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, it's the type of stuff that he should be behind bars if he did it, but this is a civil suit, and so the degree to which that maybe obviously changes with it not being a criminal case at this point. Obviously for the Chiefs, though, this is not the thing you want Rashee Rice to be in the news for after he very infamously was suspended like half the season last year after a long drawn-out battle in which a lot of people tried to get that suspension reduced and fought on his behalf, and then you've got this going on. Now, you mentioned it, the timeline of it. It's not like this necessarily was happening like after the fact, like during the football season this year, I don't believe, right? This was from 23
Not
to
this year, from 23 to 25, like summer of 25. Yeah.
But I just to be accurate, this relationship, it's not like he was suspended the 8 games and then had this begin or whatever, which is not to excuse any of the alleged behavior, but it's still one of those things where it's like there's always going to be something with Rashee Rice. There's always going to be something.
Yeah.
And this is just the latest something, and it's nothing good. And he is a talented player on the football field, but when is that not enough to counterbalance all of the crap that you're going to inevitably have to deal with? I call it a headache, but it's more than that.
Well, I think it might be more than that. Like, it is going to be interesting to see this play out. Now, again, Rice's side is fighting it. His attorney came out with a statement saying this. He said, quote, on October 9th, 2025, well after the parties' relationship had ended, Ms. Jones stated under penalty of perjury in a sworn affidavit from non-prosecution that Mr. Rice and I had a verbal argument, but he did not punch me. That was according to Rice's attorney. So, looks like they'll fight it, and there will be someone who is deemed more right, and we'll see what the ramifications of that are. Now, here's the thing, though. No, it's not a criminal case. It's just a civil case. But the league can also determine that it's suspendable. And
it
if
absolutely
they
can do its own investigation for the behavior that has been alleged.
And if they do, and they determine that it is suspendable, now Rashee Rice is a repeat offender.
And you will not be getting fewer than 8 games.
No, you're getting at least 10, and you're going to be flirting with full season. And Rashee Rice has 1 year left on the Chiefs contract on his rookie deal. I don't think it's worth it anymore, Brendan. I think you got to do something now. I can't handle it anymore.
What's your something, though? Because the ship has sailed, my friend. There's no trade value here for a player. Like, maybe you can get a late round pick for a team that's like, we'll take on that headache. I think it's just done. I think it's just like, if they are going to cut ties, you're talking Kareem Hunt the first time. And
that's the thing. Like, if you find out for sure that it happened, that this lady is telling the truth, that she was abused and Rashee Rice is responsible for everything that she is saying, then that is the same situation as Kareem Hunt. Don't care how good of a player you are.
Right.
We don't allow this, and it's not worth it to us anymore. So you're
but
gone.
then it's like he was on the team last year. You know what I mean? Like, that's Kareem Hunt also came back. So, like, the degree to which they are willing to overlook some things. And the reason I bring up the timeline is because, like, he was suspended for an incident, and maybe all the while this was going on. Has he since straightened up? It is different when it's a civil case, because they can look at it and say, well, if there was this behavior and she could, those criminal charges could be pursued further or whatever the case. When he's an NFL player that has maybe $1 million to cough up in damages, you can chase after that. But the body of work of his off the field, it leads me to believe that, like, could there be some veracity to this? And if that's the case, if you're the Chiefs, whether he's charged with it or not, convicted of it or not, again, you ask the question of, what are we willing to, what are we willing to deal with? What are we willing to allow, endorse? They wore those stupid free Rashee Rice shirts last year as though he wasn't rightfully suspended by the league. That was a misfire. That was not a decision process that was very smart by the Chiefs players, because this dude should have been suspended for that, and arguably should end up suspended for this. I think the NFL should do its own investigation, to your point, criminal case or not, and say, like, let's find out really what happened here so that we can be satisfied regardless of what the legal process might be. They need some additional, I think, conversations with some people to the extent that that's allowable, because there's not a criminal case ongoing. So, like, I don't know what the process would be there, but if I'm folks at the NFL offices, I'm like, we just very infamously had a big drawn out battle with this guy and settled on a kind of transcendent punishment where he's agreed, like, they settled that ultimately, right? He agreed with the notion that he can be suspended for that amount. They had an arbiter or tell him what the number's going to be. He said, yep, better take the 8 so it doesn't end up being what the NFL wants to do to me.
Yeah.
And now this comes out. Again, this may have been behavior that was ongoing at the same time, so it's not like he's since, necessarily gone back into some shady behavior, but it's additional things that he did, and if he did them, allegedly, if he did them, he ought to be responsible for them from a league standpoint, unless the NFL just doesn't care and wants to continue to have that reputation of, this is just the kind of stuff that we're okay with.
Or text us 573-875-KTGR. Latest news around Rashee Rice is that he's facing this civil lawsuit from his ex-girlfriend and mother of his children, that she's alleging abuse and assaults during their 2-year relationship. Josh saying Rashee Rice is not worth a second contract. Time to release or trade if you can find a trade partner. Here's the thing about that. Like, we're equating this to Kareem Hunt, because, like, I think if you find out that Rashee Rice did this, like, cut him, just like Kareem Hunt did. Sure, there's a path back to, like, because, like, that probably doesn't end Rashee Rice's time in the NFL. Yeah, it probably does let another team swoop in after Rashee Rice is out of the league for a year, probably, and then another team takes
Kareem
a
Hunt
chance
had a lot of
on
good
him.
years in Cleveland.
Right, like Sure, another team is probably going to benefit from that and maybe get some really good years out of Rashee Rice, if even with all of this happening, if he's still the type of player that he is.
What do you do?
But, like, if you're the Chiefs right now, you can't worry about that. Like, you have to worry about making your team great right now after an awful year last year. And so, like, this hanging over the head, like, is too much for me. Like, I'm almost ready to do it today, Brendan. I don't care about trading him. I'm just ready to just cut him.
Yeah,
you know?
I think you do have to wait because it is the nature of the civil suit.
Right.
And again, I think though in that building you could probably find out, like, not in a way of I'm trying to convict somebody of something where there's the burden of proof and it's you've got to be pretty much airtight, but you could do some digging around and probably have a pretty good idea of what happened. And so is it a case where, you find out from Rashee, like, what's your side of this? Or is it a case where, like, his lawyers will tell him not to say a word to anybody, no how, because he's got to try to figure out a way to, get out of this situation or whatever, whatever it's going to be. It just seems like we're talking a lot about this guy and it's not always about football.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I know he's a key part of what they do offensively. And again, if you're going to play devil's advocate, you could say that there is a case to be made that if it's a civil case and he's got the money, that somebody could come after that money. And that's the reason you do that, because you know that the bad press is just enough to get them to settle and you get something out of it. But am I mistaken that there were some, like, photographs and things that she posted when she posted on Instagram a number of weeks ago? This wasn't just like, a text post. And so there's, again, it's all alleged at this point, and it's not a criminal matter at this point, but it is the look that you don't want. Like you said, when you're the Chiefs trying to figure out how you fix a team that just underperformed last year, this is another headache to add to the list. So I'm sure they'll do their due diligence, but I do wonder if, like, the way the Kareem Hunt thing went down, if that is something that they do change their approach because of, where they say, look, you're suspended for a year or whatever. But to your point, like, when his contract is going to be up anyway soon, it's very difficult to, like, have the Chiefs be the team that can rehabilitate this player and benefit from it on the other side because of the way that the contracts work. You can't really have it both ways. You can't be the bigger party and say, we're going to suspend you and keep you out of action. But then we're going to be willing to, work with you to make you into a better person, better football player, better everything, and see the reap the benefit on the other side of that. You don't really get to do that when there's a contract involved and he's maybe that one step closer to free agency to being able to cash in elsewhere. It's not an ideal situation for the Chiefs to be in. That much is obvious.
Yeah, because now you have to worry about wide receiver. Like, I think you have to think about, like, are we good without Rashee Rice? And can we get better there?
I mean, Tyreek Hill's never had any investigations on him or anything he's done off the field. So
this is the
message that would send, by the way,
convergence of events has been maddening to me.
You can't do it.
You
can't cut Rashee Rice because you're taking a hardline stance and then sign Tyreek Hill.
No,
I'm sorry. That doesn't mentally compute. So I think you either got to forget both of them or sign Tyreek and have Rice too. And you just, it doesn't matter.
You have the most problematic wide receiver room off the field in the NFL.
Is he in jail? Is he being charged criminally? No. All right. We want them all.
Guess we'll have him this week.
It's a mess.
Yeah,
it's
man.
a mess.
I hate this so much. And look, like, there's more that the Chiefs can maybe try and comb. I thought all along here, like, all things equal, like, you should probably still look in the draft and see if you can find a good wide receiver that you can add to the mix.
I'll say they need a pass catcher. If they want that to be an elite tight end, I won't
true.
necessarily say that's crazy.
Yeah.
The offense has done well with the tight end at the center for a long, long time. I don't know that there's a Travis Kelce in this draft. There aren't many of those walking around.
Nope.
But the last draft, there might have been a couple of them, but that wasn't, weren't getting either of them with where Colson Loveland and Tyler Warren were taken. But yeah, I think you do need a pass catcher. And that stinks because you got a lot of other things to fix too. You got a lot of other problems with your roster. Andy, I know that we say a year of Patrick Mahomes cannot be considered like a rebuild, retool type of year, I am hard-pressed right now to see how the Chiefs just magically snap back into it, because we saw that Patrick Mahomes alone was not enough. They weren't making the playoffs even before he tore his ACL. So they've got some work to do. And I maintain that I'm not totally enamored with the front office and how they've drafted or how they've made all the personnel decisions. Mahomes is a great get. Andy Reid's a great coach. Beyond that, like, there's a little bit of prove it, I think, right now for the Chiefs to avoid letting this thing slip away even a little bit further than just making a one-year blip on the radar.
Call or text us, Chiefs fans. Rashee Rice, a lawsuit alleging abuse and assault of his ex-girlfriend over their 2-year relationship between the end of 2023 and July of last year. What's it mean for the Chiefs now? 875-KTGR, call or text us. We will talk more Chiefs coming up as it pertains to Patrick Mahomes' restructure and what that could allow the Chiefs to do down the line. Even with the restructure, though, they're still over the cap. They still have work to do when it comes to that. But we'll talk more about that, and we'll talk some college basketball. What else could be happening down the line here tonight that could affect Mizzou on the bubble? But we got to give you a chance right now to win some Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off tickets. It's coming this Saturday, 2 to 6 p.m. at the Wyndham Executive Center. That's where the Holiday Inn Expo Center formerly was. Same building, 2 to 6 p.m. on Saturday, benefiting the Boys and Girls Clubs of Columbia. If you want to help out a great cause, come on by, of course, and you can buy tickets in advance and save $20 in advance, $25 at the door. And again, goes to an excellent cause here in Columbia, Boys and Girls Clubs, building the next generation of kids into the next generation, really, of fine citizens. And so be sure to come by, have a drink, have some chili, bring the kids. There will be kids' games, bounce house, everything like that. And we're going to give you a chance to win some tickets right now if you are the winner of our trivia challenge. If you don't win, that's okay. You can go buy tickets at ktgr.com. Here's our trivia question related to Mizzou men's basketball. During Dennis Gates' tenure as Mizzou's coach, which player holds the record for highest single-season points scored? Dennis Gates era, the player that has scored the most points in a single season is who? Call or text us. Don't call. Text us the answer, 573-875-KTGR. If you're one of the first 2 people to text us the correct answer, you will win a pair of tickets to the Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off this Saturday. Single season points scored record holder in the Dennis Gates tenure at Mizzou basketball. Text us the answer at 875-KTGR. We'll talk more Chiefs next here on The Big Show.
Miss the latest edition of The Big Show? Catch up on demand with a full show podcast on the KTGR app. Download it now, wherever you get your apps.
Hy-Vee invites you to the 2nd annual Sip and Savor event, benefiting the Food Bank for Central and Northeast Missouri, February 21st at the Northeast Events Center in Columbia, with unlimited tastings of spirits, wine, craft beer, food, and a chance to buy some of the rarest bourbon in the country. Weller, E.H. Taylor, the infamous Pappy Van Winkle, and more. Tickets are just $70. Stop by the liquor department at any of your Columbia Hy-Vees to get yours today. February 21st. Sip, sample, and support a great cause. Only from Columbia Hy-Vee.
You know your favorites. Now it's time to put them on the map. Nominations are open for Inside Columbia Magazine's Best of Columbia 2026. Now through March 1st. Nominate the businesses and places you love, including Best Pizza, Best Insurance Agent, and Best Home Repair and Remodeling. You can nominate once per day. So come back and support the businesses you love most. Best of Columbia 2026 starts with you. Nominate today at InsideColumbia.net.
This is the year she gets an upgraded diamond, the year that dad finally gets his retirement watch, and the year that your daughter graduates, so you give her the necklace she's always dreamed of. Family Pawn is not your traditional pawn shop, but they are your secret to saving big on stunning jewelry for every occasion. Family Pawn, where you'll find timeless treasures for a fraction of the cost. FamilyPawn.com.
Not your traditional pawn shop. Family Pawn.
Okay, the limb is hanging over the driveway. I need this pruned.
Oh, call the electrician.
An electrician?
Yeah. Or maybe your HVAC guy.
You've officially lost it. I need an expert in the right field.
Fine. Call that lawn company. They mow and prune.
Yeah, they also scalped your yard last summer.
When it comes to trees, trust the experts who actually know trees. Ones that are trained and educated for pruning, planting, and removals done right. Call Eric at Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend. AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
From the trainers to the coaches, the equipment managers to the players and fans, it takes a whole team to be truly successful. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you're looking for the best team of jewelers in Columbia, it's Betts. Their staff has years of experience handcrafting jewelry, and when you combine that with the newest technology, it gives Betts Jewelers the ability to truly wow their customers. So talk to the team at your hometown jeweler today. Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia.
These beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
As we get into the heart of basketball season, 1851 Underground Tap and Grill wants to remind you, whether you need a place to grab a bite after a local high school or college game, or you want to plop down with some friends and watch some of that college conference action on TV, they've got a spot for you. Your favorite cold beer or cocktail and delicious appetizer or dinner options on the menu. Check them out on Facebook or at 1851underground.com. It's no secret that it is underground. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill in the historic Brick District, downtown Fulton.
Another winter inside, looking at the snow in your yard that you can't write your name in because you didn't order your new deck from Crutch's Custom Exteriors in time. Don't look ahead to spring cleaning. You're ready for spring peeing and April showers with Freedom Stream Powers off your new Crutch's deck. They can build your pee platform in the winter so it's ready for you to splash your autograph in any springtime snow that's left. CrutchesCustomExteriors.com. True beauty is on the outside.
Tired of calling Andy and Brendan? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
Thanks for participating in today's trivia contest for some Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off tickets. We have our winners. Appreciate you texting in, 875-KTGR. Here on the Big Show with Andy and Brendan. The question was, during Dennis Gates' tenure as Mizzou's basketball coach, which player holds the record for highest single-season points scored? Guesses, Brendan.
Kobe Brown was really good at the beginning. Sean East had a good year. Those are it's got to be one of those two.
Billy, you have a guess?
It's just limited to the first 2 years?
No, it's the whole tenure. Whole tenure of Dennis Gates.
I think it was that Caleb Grill game against Mississippi State.
Single season.
Oh, single season. Oh.
Full season,
well, I'm
right?
just,
Most points in a season?
Yeah, most points in a season.
I think it's Sean East.
So Billy's going Sean East.
Do I have to pin me down between Kobe and Sean East?
I guess I don't have to.
I'm going to say give me a 50% chance. Could be one of those two. Otherwise, I'm just wrong.
No, you're 100%. It is 100% one of those two people.
Okay.
It is Kobe Brown is the correct answer. Kobe Brown scored 538 points in that year. And I'm going to look to see where
not
Sean
points
East was.
per game. Was it just cumulative points?
Cumulative
I
points,
guess,
yes.
Because that year they played more games.
They played 34 games.
Surely they played more games.
Well, that does factor in. Now I was looking at it and it was kind of interesting just to kind of go through because Sean East did not play as many games, but Sean East averaged. Sure. He had a higher average, but he finished with 529 points in that 2024 year where they went winless in conference. He was not the reason why. He was awesome. Looking at it this year though. Mark Mitchell is at 429 this year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he should get there.
So he's played 25 games. Again, Kobe Brown played 34. Kobe Brown got to that number averaging about 15 and a half points a game. Mark Mitchell's at 17.2. So, again, Mizzou's got 6 games left, regular season. They're going to have at least one in the SEC tournament. I would guess probably 2. I think they win their first game.
I'm not going to guess that. It depends on, we didn't really talk about it, but if they're the 8 seed, you might play the tougher opponent and not, you get a bye.
Maybe.
So
yeah, we'll see. So if they, let's say 1.5 on that, even if they don't make the NCAA tournament, probably going to the NIT. So you'll get another game at least out of that too. So that's at least 8 games left, I think, for Mark Mitchell to play in and get to 110 more points to surpass what Kobe Brown had. Yeah.
He should set that mark.
It's going to be interesting to see.
I do believe. Yeah.
So we'll see. And if he's able to do that 17 points tonight, I think going to be pretty important for Mark Mitchell if the Tigers are going to win it against Vanderbilt. But we'll see.
But we got our winners, and Mark Mitchell was not the answer.
So Mark Mitchell was not the answer. Kobe Brown was the answer. We did get our winners. Congrats to Daniel M. and Craig P. You're our winners of some Rootin' Tootin' Chili Cook-Off tickets at the Wyndham Executive Center on Saturday, 2 to 6 p.m. Again, get all the details at ktgr.com if you want to buy your own tickets. We'll give you one more chance tomorrow at 5:20 to win them from us for free. But go and check it out at ktgr.com and support a great cause, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Columbia. All right, get us your Chiefs thoughts, too. Joe says, if guilty, time to part ways. I mean, I don't know if it's not necessarily a guilty verdict gets reached. It's a civil suit, and so
they could probably settle it.
It's a settlement.
He has to pay some money, but does the settlement imply guilt? That there's a lot of probably concern about like how would that look if I settle it if I'm innocent? You know what I mean? Like, I would want to challenge, and I would. So that's going to be part of the conversation, surely, of what you do here.
So, there's that. And then there's, Chiefs trying to get what they need for next year to be much better. And not just the bar that they set last year. It's get back to the postseason and get back to at least the AFC Championship game. I think it's still their goal. Even with the way that last year ended. The other Chiefs news today is that Patrick Mahomes restructured his contract with the Chiefs. It freed up $43.5 million of cap space. Just clear up a common misconception. This does not mean that he takes a pay cut. It just means that they converted a bunch of his money to signing bonus. I think they may have thrown a little bit of the money from this year onto future years. And essentially this means that he gets more money up front before the season actually starts. And it all depends on how much you're allowed to do in the NFL and how much the Hunt family has on hand that they feel like they can give to Mahomes right now, they have liquid. So
the way to circumvent though is you have to have the funds.
So his cap number went down from like 78 million, which is a lot, to 34.65 million. So that frees up a lot of space. Even with the space that it freed up, the Chiefs are still $11 million over the cap. So there is more work to do, but there are options. First of all, they can do the same thing with Chris Jones, I think. He's another candidate for this. I don't know if they can free up the same amount of space that they do with Mahomes, but Jones is counting $44 million against the cap, and I think that number will eventually be lower. They'll probably go back to him and try to see what they can do there. I've said that they need to trade Trent McDuffie. If they do that today, they'll be underneath the cap. Like his is $13.5 million, and so like that would get you underneath there. I think you also need to cut Jawan Taylor, man. Like, pay what you need to make him go away, but he is $27 million right now, and it is not worth it. You have already paid a bunch of money to Jalen Moore to be here before you knew that you had the availability to draft Josh Simmons. And Jalen Moore, I thought, was capable in his time out there when he was healthy at either left tackle or right tackle. I think you just roll with him and say, like, look, you're making $18 million too. I want you instead of this flag happy right tackle that we've had to pay all this money to for 5 years now. I think that has to happen. So like you make those three things happen. And I think you have the space to at least sign your draft picks that you're going to have this year, but maybe room for other stuff. But the question is now, like, I think the Chiefs need to be in the running back market for free agency. Do they also need a dividend wide receiver, though, with all this?
It depends on what they're going to do in the draft, because you can often draft one and that ends up being, the guy that you need. You can make an impact draft pick at that position. So I think that depends on how they want to divvy that up when it comes to the resources of it. Yeah.
The problem is free agency mostly happens before the draft, and so I get it. Like that's how I would go too. I would spend maybe like a 3rd round pick on the best guy you like in that position, and maybe somebody falls. Inevitably, somebody does. That the Chiefs are like, wow, that guy's can't miss. Let's get him. We'll see if that's the case. The wide receiver market also in free agency isn't like awesome either.
Right.
Mike Evans will be out there, and apparently he said today that he wants to come back. So we'll see what dollar amount that could command for him to kind of cherry on top on his career. If he wants to go to a contender, then shoot. Hey, I know the Chiefs may have been in on that in the past.
That would be. It's not going to come cheap though, I think. But I think short-term deal for sure.
Deebo Samuel also available, like similar vein. Like Chiefs were the talk of one off season was like, oh, Chiefs are definitely going to trade for Deebo.
Right.
Never happened. He went to Washington eventually, and he's a free agent now. We'll see. I mean, maybe it's out there. We can see what the Chiefs would be able to spend on that. It's a very interesting question now, though, with the Rashee Rice stuff.
Yeah, I think you definitely have to be willing to add to the room in a way that if you didn't have these Rice concerns, that I think you'd be okay. I don't think you would need to be thinking quite as hard about that.
Just tough too, because Chiefs probably do need to make some hard decisions on who they have on the books now and like what free agents they can bring back. Like, I know you've asked before, Brendan, about the Jalen Watson thing. Like, would you bring back Jalen Watson, try to see what the number would be for him?
Yeah, I think you have to consider some things of that ilk, or because I think the McDuffie thing is the easiest way to solve the money of it.
Yeah, you got to keep at least one, right? I think to try and make sure your secondary is up to a requisite number. How about another guy? Do you cut Drew Tranquil?
Is the money that significant that you gain a lot for doing so? Because I mean he's a valued part of the defense.
$7.5 million.
Man, it feels like we're really scrimping and saving at this point. But I get that that's the situation. I think you can get something for Trent McDuffie. I think you hate to see it go that way, but I think it makes sense for it to. And like that's probably the way that I would go, because I think you can, rather than cutting guys that you can play on your defense and have contribute, I think you can trade him and get a first-round pick. Maybe I'm wrong, but if you can do that, that's probably the way that I grin and bear it. You just got to take your medicine. That's my take.
What about Mike Dana? $11.1 million.
Okay. I mean, that's a little bit more. And now, are you saving that to the cap if you cut him, or is that because it's always
it would be a little bit, there would be some dead cap money that you have to eat, but
okay, it
would be close to that number.
Yeah, like, is this instead of the McDuffie thing, or do you think it in addition because you want to make some additional moves?
It might take a few moves. It might take something drastic, right? Like the Chiefs have not, when the Chiefs have come off of years that fell below expectations, they have not been shy about doing something drastic. So it might be that. We'll see what those restructures look like, whether they feel like, okay, yeah, we can cut Jawan Taylor. We feel good about Jalen Moore. Let's have him be our starting right tackle. If we find the right trade partner for McDuffie, like those are the moves that I think need to happen, like no doubt. But again, like if you want to maximize your potential elsewhere, there may be more shaving that you have to do to like, and again, you have to allow for some rookies to be making a piece of that pie also, like be ready for the draft to have some space for that too. And then like, again, be competitive in the running back market, because I think that's where they need to be competitive the most.
Yeah. They have to get a running back, have to. And I'm satisfied if they spend an early round pick, and that's their answer. I'm also satisfied if they spend money. You probably save some, some funding for free agency if you went the route of, we're gonna draft a running back. But either way, it feels silly to put your roster in a position where you say that, because there are so many other things they're going to have to do. But I don't think that this offense, it's not fair to Patrick Mahomes to try to proceed by like just getting by at running back. Give him something to take a little bit of the pressure off. I think is something that makes a lot of sense.
Seahawks are apparently not tagging Kenneth Walker.
I'm telling you, the problem is is it smart for a team that's up against the cap to say we're going to pay the guy that just was the first running back since Terrell Davis to win Super Bowl MVP? Like you're paying a sticker shock, you would think, when it comes to that.
It's fair, like because he will probably command like a yeah, that's probably what he's looking for, is a multi-year deal, since he's maybe not going to be getting the franchise tag. Although that is a Seahawks decision. It's not necessarily his decision. And
that's something they do too, where like maybe they'd welcome back, but go ahead and check the market on yourself and let us know if we can, we're maybe open-minded to beating it on a long-term deal, but they don't want to bid against themselves, which is probably something that makes players feel a little squirrely. I saw Rick Woolen tweeting out the Will Smith gif of like, everybody's gone. Like, I think he's, there is that sentiment, but I also think that's just a bit the business side of it, that the Seahawks say, look, this is the way that we approach it because we think we get the most out of these negotiations by doing it that way.
And maybe nothing, the fact that they are now for sale, which is also kind of unprecedented. Like, so there is a new ownership.
Like, who wouldn't want to buy that team right now?
Who wouldn't want to buy the team? And like, how much is that new owner going to actually be spending? And are they interested in how much Kenneth Walker is actually making? It's interesting.
It is interesting.
So I feel like the Chiefs have to create as much opportunity as possible to be competitive in that market. Not to say that they need to land him, but like, if they don't get him, can you get a solid option that elevates your room, makes Eric Bieniemy's job a little bit easier, because he's doing enough, I'm sure, to try and get the best out of the running backs anyway. But you do need, I think, a stud that you can rely upon, stand on, to see if that happens. The first step is going to the bank of Mahomes and restructuring.
They always take that step every single time.
Yeah, this is like 4 years in a row now.
It never fails.
But we'll see how the Chiefs try to create more cap space down the line. 875-KTGR, give us a call or a text. We'll talk some college basketball next. Tell you who to root for across the rest of the landscape as Mizzou tries to get a win against Vanderbilt next here on The Big Show.
Now, your local Sports Center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Billy Jones. The Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's rounded rubber, Lee sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Missouri men's basketball takes on 19th-ranked Vanderbilt tonight. Tip-off set for 8 p.m. from Mizzou Arena. Our game show begins right here on KTGR at 7:30. Commodores come in at 21-4 and 8-4 in league play. Meanwhile, Missouri 17-8 and 7-5 in the SEC. And crucially, ESPN's bracketology expert Joe Lenardi has the Tigers as his first team out. No Duke Miles tonight for Vanderbilt, with some speculation he would return. He still has not played since January 24th. Tigers are 8-0 against Vanderbilt in Columbia. Chiefs have restructured Mahomes' contract, freeing up $43.5 million in cap space this offseason. Contract expected to carry an $85 million cap hit in 2027. New trouble for Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice, who was cited in a lawsuit by the mother of his 2 children in Dallas. She's seeking $1 million in punitive damages for alleged abuse. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew. When your world seems to have been wrecked, call the team you hope you never have to meet. I-70 Towing.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking partly cloudy skies overnight as temperatures drop down into the mid-40s. It'll be very breezy tomorrow as gusts get up to around 30 to 35 miles per hour. With low humidity, we will see an increased fire danger. High temperatures make it to the upper 60s. And we're much colder to end the week with morning temperatures on Friday in the 20s. Highs only make the low 40s. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
High school hoops.
Switches on the crossover, Euro step inside, high off the glass and in.
At its best.
Catch it on the left wing, turns around and knocks down the three.
KTGR is your home for the best high school basketball matchups in Columbia. Follow the QBs, Bruins, Spartans, and Trailblazers all season long on KTGR's High School Hoops Game of the Week. See the full list of game broadcasts on KTGR.com and listen on the go with a free KTGR app. High school basketball lives here on your total sports station, KTGR.
Stale, old ideas are like coffee that's been left out a little too long. It's bitter, it's flat. Nobody wants that. At Fuse 32, we don't serve the leftovers. The digital world moves fast, and so do we, constantly bringing you new, fresh, bold ideas that keep you and your brand ahead of the curve. No recycled strategies, cookie-cutter campaigns, or hidden fees here. Just transparency, creativity, and return on investment you can actually see. Fuse 32. There's nothing we can't do. Fuse32.com.
Jane Dawson did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With the money she saved, she got herself a pricey bird feeder with an ultra-high-def camera. Should Jane have just bought a regular bird feeder? Yes. Is it hard for her to admire nature when the camera doubles as the bird's potty? Also, yes. But it's Jane's savings, and if she wants to spend her time watching the digestive habits of the white-breasted nuthatch, we say you go, girl. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Life has many sweet sounds. Whether it's being enchanted by the coo of a baby, enthralled by the refrain of a favorite song, or even enlightened by a celebration, hearing connects, informs, and engages us with the world. At Hearing Aid Consultants, helping people hear better is our passion. Set your hearing baseline now so you don't miss the sweet sounds of life.
Hearing Aid Consultants in Almake Repair Lab. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. HearingAidConsultants.com.
You've seen the trucks. You've heard the name, but there still seems and for all. Yes, Steve from Steve's Pest Control is a real guy. Okay, sure. I'll believe in Steve when I see a termite riding a unicorn. Time to squash those rumors, like Steve squashes spiders. Steve's Pest Control isn't some big corporate chain, and they're not some call center based in the land of make-believe. Steve's Pest Control is a locally owned, family-operated company. From ants to termites, bedbugs to wasps, Steve's crew handles it all with precision and a dash of Midwestern charm.
Hi, I'm Steve with Steve's Pest Control.
There it is, proof of Steve's existence. So don't waste your time calling the not-so-local guys and call your friends at Steve's Pest Control. Local, legendary, and 100% real.
We're going to solve your pest problem. I guarantee it.
Now you got a friend in the pest control business. Steve's Pest Control.
Hey, kids! Tired of working out in the peace and quiet of your own home? Why be comfy when you could be cringy? It's about time you signed up for a Gymbership. For 12 easy installments of $499.99, you can lie down on pre-soaked workout benches, enjoy awkward locker room talk, and get judged hard by dudes who look like they could rip a pickup truck in half. Gymbership comes with everything you see here, batteries not included. Or you could shop at Play It Again Sports for fitness and workout equipment. Think of them first so you don't finish last. PlayItAgainSportsColumbiaMo.com.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the big show on KTGR.
Call or text us, 875-KTGR here on the big show if you want to chime in on some Chiefs talk and tell us what you think about the Rashee Rice situation. What would you do about that if you're the Chiefs right now? They'll probably play the waiting game for a little bit, but they'll try to find out as much as they can know and see what way the wind is blowing on that. Whether Rashee Rice could be facing another suspension. If that's the case, yeah, you're done. Tonight, Mizzou men's hoops, obviously, taking on Vanderbilt. If the Tigers win that, that's a boost to their resume. The question is, though, their resume also, like, it matters what the other resumes around them look like. And let's look at some of the key ones here, Brendan, and see what Mizzou probably needs to happen elsewhere to stay in this conversation, because there are some other bubble teams that like have opportunities. Like I look at right away, USC hosting Illinois. Illinois is still a big favorite, but they're on the West Coast. That's tipping at 9 p.m. Central.
Good.
Which again, West Coast, it's 7 o'clock there, so it's more normal. But
right.
If USC wins that, then they get a boost. But then I think they're in the field as it stands now, but you want them to drop, right? You want them to start
you want
falling.
them to lose big and don't gain anything from the efforts of their performance against a really good team. Yeah.
It's one that I think you got to pay attention to tonight. Illinois needs to take care of business there so that USC doesn't get a resume building win.
Okay.
I think I'd like to see what the committee or what bracketologists might do to BYU if they start to keep losing. I don't think they're going to be left out. They're a ranked team right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot to that. Nobody's going to blame them for going to Arizona either and losing.
I just don't want them. I just don't want to see them win that. That'd be the thing. I'd rather have Arizona there. But
okay. I don't really think it matters Mizzou-wise, but
the other ones, A&M hosting Ole Miss tonight. I think you're root for Ole Miss.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Like I don't think you're bouncing A&M, but if A&M loses at home as nearly a double-digit point favorite over Ole Miss, yeah, and I don't think Ole Miss is even sniffing the bubble. So you would look for A&M to maybe, because again, you're trying to hope you can take somebody's spot, and I don't think there's many of those left after Georgia beats Kentucky last night. That didn't go your way. Texas, you didn't handle Texas. They're cruising. So yeah, I think maybe A&M could be exposed if they were to lose a game like this one.
I also look at Auburn on the road at Mississippi State.
I was going to ask if Auburn is even worth kind of like rooting against at this point.
I think so. Because
they're not going to fall to the bubble, are they?
I think it's fair to ask the question.
They don't have a great record.
No.
I mean, like they've got, they don't have as many tough games remaining that make me think that they'd be at risk. But I guess that's the point. Because if they lose several of these games, hosting Kentucky, at OU, hosting Ole Miss, hosting LSU, I mean, if they don't have a winning record in that stretch, you're looking up and going, well, wait a minute, what's so great about Auburn? If their non-con is fine, but they're 5-7 right now.
Yeah,
if they should drop this one, and I'm always on the Josh Hubbard train. I mean, that's how Mississippi State did it to Ole Miss. Is Josh Hubbard had 38, and that's the way that goes. Yeah, I would say root for Mississippi State. I'm rooting for Mississippi State to look good because Mizzou plays them soon, and like I think the things that happen in the here and now, they say it doesn't, but I do think that it maybe ends up helping you if Mississippi State looks a little bit better. I don't think they can climb to 75 in the net, but stranger things have happened. I looked the other day; they were in the 90s or 94th. So
yeah, it's going to be tough to see that. But
yeah, but I would say that it's not impossible.
Yeah,
I don't know who all of the teams they play are, but
firmly a quad 2, so I'm not too worried about it turning into a quad 1 all of a sudden. I think it's still going to help Mizzou to go and win that, add to that ledger, and we'll see what happens there. Auburn, by the way, Joan already has them as an 8 seed. That's
close enough. I'll root for Mississippi State in that one.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. Like, there's a metric that read in piece today from CBS Sports that fans need to know more about this metric. It's wins above the bubble. And the committee is starting to use that a little bit more when it comes to like evaluating the resume. If you want to boil the resume down to one number, it could be that. And Auburn right now in that department is 40. If Mizzou wins tonight, Mizzou's 46.
Okay.
They could potentially, if Auburn, I don't even know if winning the game would add too much to it, but if they lose, say, to Mississippi State, Mizzou wins, they probably hop Auburn in that metric. And
it's just one metric, but it's enough to start to have a conversation about these two teams. And kind of like the Notre Dame Miami thing, we beat Auburn. So
yeah, exactly. There you go.
We just need to be scrubbed against them to prove that we are superior.
Exactly.
Yeah, Auburn. I mean, Auburn could stumble down the stretch tonight. Maybe the start of that. I'll root for Mississippi State. I'll root for Ole Miss. I don't think really Oklahoma, Tennessee, it matters really all that much.
I don't think so.
I'll root for Arkansas to blow the doors off of Bama on the road because we need them fat and happy.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Like I think if Alabama wins by 20, you're not getting like a Arkansas overlooking the Zoo narrative on Saturday.
Yeah.
So maybe Arkansas should just have their best game of the season right now and get it out of the way.
Yeah, Billy.
Real quick, wouldn't it help Missouri more for Auburn to keep winning? I would think.
No, I don't think so.
I
think they're a bubble team, and I think you want to be above bubble teams.
I think because they could actually take Auburn's spot if Auburn really tailspins and like they're playing the worst team tonight. So if you take a loss there, like if Lenardi's got him as an 8, maybe that drops him to a 9. Maybe we're grasping at straws. I'll admit, but I think because their schedule remaining isn't that tough, if they take too many losses, people might look up and go, well, Auburn's 7-11 in the SEC. Are they really that safely in? Like a loss tonight could lead to that. They'd be 5-8 and still have a couple tough games remaining. So
I think if Mississippi State gets that done, that can help Mizzou's case. Mizzou can help their case the most if they just beat Vanderbilt tonight.
That's all. Because again, you're 10-8 or you're not is really the answer for Mizzou, and I think 10-8 has to start tonight at 8:00.
Well, stay tuned.
And at 11:30 p.m. if Pat Adams is in the building. We'll see.
I guess we'll find out in due time. 7:30 is when pregame starts for Mizzou and Vanderbilt. Men's hoops tonight. Stay tuned for that here on KTGR, and we'll be back at 4 o'clock tomorrow to recap all of it, give our reactions, and update our SEC basketball tiers. Join us tomorrow at 4. He's Brendan East, producer Billy. I'm Andy. We're done for now.